Okay, we're ready to go. Everybody, welcome to the Game of Thrones Week in Review, Season 7, Episode 5.
Yeah,
that sounded professional. That was a good intro. Okay, that's where I'll start my recording. So guys, great episode. Another good one.
This was an episode, I think, that set up the rest of the season.
Okay, that was what I was going to say. This definitely felt like a setup episode. There wasn't as much craziness. I mean, they were coming off of a pretty high of an episode. This one wasn't as amazing as last week, but it definitely felt like we are just gearing up now for the finale, right? Because we're 2 away after this.
Yeah, we're sort of in the eye of the storm right now.
This sucks, guys. 2 episodes left.
It's pretty sad, right?
I don't want to talk about that. I just want to talk about this episode, okay? I don't want to talk about it being over. Wait, 2 episodes left and then a break and then more episodes, right?
Yeah, like a 2-year break, probably.
2-year break. Oh man.
I think it's going to be about a year and a half.
That's good. It gives me time to binge watch all the first 7 seasons all over again, so I actually feel educated when we have these discussions, and I don't have to be carried by Mkbean. Maybe I'll read the books. Yeah.
Ooh, that'll take you more than a year or 2.
Uh-oh. All right.
Yeah, that's a brutal book.
Let's start off with what we know. We knew what was going to happen at the beginning of this episode, right?
I think we called it.
It was pretty obvious.
I think
we did.
We called it. Well, no, we didn't. We didn't know if it was going to be Bronn or
actually. Well,
Dickon.
we said it was either going to be Bronn or Dickon. Every time, by the way, every time, and we'll talk about that later. But neither one of us knew. However,
I think I called it.
Was the one you called that he would be washed upstream.
Yeah,
you did call that, which was a very, very good call. And I thought what I found interesting on this is that as much as we all love Bronn, he's always treasure hunting. I know the Skizzleman has the incessant ability to always see things where there's. I'm not seeing what's not actually there, but I felt like this was a very clever scene because this was like somebody panning for gold. This was somebody like on a treasure hunt, and that's what Bronn was. He plucked him out of the water because that is his coin purse.
I gotta pull him out of the water he so I can have my castle.
Yeah. Exactly. It was like he was panning for gold.
Yeah, he said that, he doesn't get to die, right? Not till I get what I'm owed. A dragon doesn't get to kill you. You don't get to kill you. Only I get to kill you.
Yes, he did.
Great.
Say that.
And also he said, dragons are where our partnership ends.
Yeah. That's what you gotta love about Bronn, man.
Peace, I'm out.
Yeah. He's like,
no thanks.
He's like, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with this. He's all, we're gonna have to deal with this. He's all, nope, you. Dragons where I
I just actually thought of it. Leatherneck Noki, he talked about Jaime's hand. Man, that's gotta be a heavy hand. Forget the armor. I'm surprised that hand just didn't fall off.
That hand
in the
alone
water
would drown him, even without that armor on, yeah.
How was that thing attached, by the way?
I don't know.
BT dubs.
Stick. What else did they have back then?
Just jam it in there.
Yeah.
But so I think we all figured, and they probably should have just ended the episode with that. I don't think they needed to wait. It wasn't like a huge cliffhanger. No one thought Jaime was going to die like that. But good to see that Jaime's alive.
Good point. But given the formula that Game of Thrones runs, I would not have put it past them to wait another whole episode until this scene. You know what I mean? But the story, they had to bring Jaime back in immediately because there's a lot to talk about, and we'll get obviously to that in a second. But I'm with you. It was okay that they did it right away. I was glad that they did it right away. You don't commonly see the beginning of the episode pick up exactly where the last episode left off, and that's exactly what they did here. And I enjoyed that. It was kind of refreshing,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a long. Did you see how far away they were from where it actually happened? Like
that river was running.
That was one heck of a current. Let me just say that.
We always talk about the logistics of it, right? If you remember when Jaime came out of the water, he started throwing up, which is an indication that you took water into the lungs, right? Which means that you were underwater for a while. Well, given how far away they traveled, given how deep we saw him sink, how exactly did Bronn pull this off?
That's what he said. He said you could have died.
Dragons.
Anything can happen. There's dragons.
Yeah. You're right. Okay, yeah.
We can't look into the
She can't look into every
dragons.
Well, we talk about the ravens and their, their.
True.
And the
There's
time
speed.
travel,
Raven speed.
the time travel in this episode was absolutely insane. But we'll get into
Yeah,
that.
it was pretty super.
I've
duper.
never
We'll
seen
cover that in a
people
second.
bounce around, 5,000 miles or whatever it was so quickly.
One dude went to like the other side of Westeros, and he's like came back. He's like, all right, so it's been like 2 hours. We gotta catch up now. All right, what's next?
But yeah, there was no surprise here, other than we weren't quite sure who was going to pull him out. But of course, it was Bronn, which makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
What's next is what I thought was a very epic-looking scene. Actually, I loved
Agreed.
the way they filmed this and just.
I agree 100%.
This makes Drogon look huge.
Yeah.
He is so much bigger, and this really put perspective on it.
Yeah, being powerful, being a big, powerful dragon is one thing, but being physically up on a higher, like, hill, like, they went the distance on this one. He is in charge of all of them, and Dany is in charge of him. Like, there's no question here anymore. What are we fighting for anymore? That's your boss. It's called a dragon. That's who's in charge.
And he didn't even appear to really be hurt.
I noticed that, actually. I thought maybe they would address that.
And they
And
didn't
it was
really
nothing but a
show
flesh
anything.
wound.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, the only person that was hurt in this scene was Tyrion. Well, okay.
Ooh, he was.
And everybody captured, and maybe the Tarleys a little bit, but
A little bit.
we'll get to that. But Tyrion, he was not down with this, was he? One bit.
No, he wasn't, right?
He did not like this. He did not like this, and he was right not to like this.
But you know what? Okay, so let's ask that question, right? I mean, what was he right or was Dany right? I happen to be on Team Dany here for her decision because she gave them a chance.
That's
really
not a
did.
chance. That's not a chance.
It's a chance.
No, it isn't. Absolutely not. When you say you have choice A or death, you're saying you have choice A. That's not having a choice or a chance.
Binary.
You're not giving them an actual chance. She pretended to say, like, I'm not Cersei, this is not who I am. However, you get behind me or you're dead. That's not the same thing as a choice, and that's why Tyrion is having this conflict. He's like, who did I hitch my wagon to, man? Like, this is everything. Like, a couple months ago, I was behind this girl, and now she's turning out to be like
crazy.
a little bit. Like, yeah, this is like her Targaryen blood is showing through.
I
What
disagree.
could she have done,
Well,
though?
you're
I
wrong.
mean, these people,
Well, look.
they stood against her. You're either with me or you're against me. That was basically the premise of this, right? And they stood, meaning they're against her. What was she to do with them that wouldn't
This is
make
war.
her
Well, she
seem
She had
weak
already
in front
said
of
that
everybody?
though. She had already said, "You join me or you die." So at this point, she has no choice.
Yeah,
because
once
she had already
she
said
said
that.
that, she had to go through with it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
She had to go
Uh-oh.
through with it. McBean's wrong.
Look,
He'll waste our
okay.
time, but go ahead.
There's a couple things here. In the chat, we've got some things that talk about it resembled the Mad King. That was the problem. No. The Mad King would have just burned everybody. Okay? She gave people a chance there. And Tyrion even said, he's a good man. He's a good military man. We need men like that on the wall. He then said, you're not my queen. You can't send me to the wall. He knew what he was getting into, okay? He could have easily gotten out of that. He could have been sent to the wall. He chose not to.
No, she was not going to
And
give him even that
Cersei,
offer.
I
She
think
wasn't
she
going to
would've-
do it.
And Cersei, when she went crazy, blew up the sept, she didn't give those people a chance at all. Okay? She just said, nope, I'm killing all of you. So I think it is different.
All right, I agree. She's not exactly like Cersei, but she's not as different as she claims. She actually started her entire mantra with, you follow Cersei. That is not who you want. She is terrible because of this, and she will kill you, and blah, blah, blah. By the way, bend the knee or you're dead. It was actually like all in one breath. It was like, what are you doing? Like, how can you make that argument? It made no sense. She is not Cersei. She does not have an evil heart, but her leadership is, in my opinion, very misled right now. I think the tremendous
I don't know if
amount
it's misled. It just needs, it's not mature.
it's
right?
not
I
exactly
feel like
well.
she's just getting a little too full of herself, right? They've been building this up slowly all season long, with her just getting a little ahead of herself, a little too power hungry. I mean, how many times does she say "bend the knee" in episode now? It's like
Yeah.
her
Yeah,
own.
they're building
every
up to
other
something,
line.
I'll
Bend the
tell you
knee.
that.
What's her name? Bend the knee. Who you? Bend the knee.
Yeah.
You know, that's all she wants to say anymore.
I've got no legs. I don't care.
You have no, dang it, I was getting there. I was waiting for Impulse to shut up. You have no legs? Bend the knee.
Bend the elbow.
Your knee doesn't bend? Bend the knee.
So I feel like they're trying to, you know, because everybody's been like kind of on her side, and maybe we all built her up a little too much. Now they're just trying to knock her down a couple pegs, you know, by letting her go a little too far with some of this stuff, and I think that's all that's happening here.
I agree with Impulse on this. I think from a writing standpoint, they're like, listen, it's almost like Danny's character is becoming a little one-sided in regards to the entire audience wants her to win now.
Right.
We can't have that.
Yeah.
We need people to be torn. So we got to give them a reason to second guess who they're actually following right now.
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things also I think Tyrion was a little upset about, and they didn't really reveal this, but I can only imagine he didn't know the fate of his brother. You know what I mean?
Good
I
point.
mean, he
Yeah.
saw him go into the water, I'm sure, but that was it.
Yeah.
We talked
and
about
then-
this last week, yeah.
Yeah, but they never really addressed it either. Like, how did
Correct.
he even know his brother was alive? But obviously, they found out, and so I'm thinking he's looking kind of out and just to see, okay, is my brother out there? What's going to go on? They never addressed it.
A lot going on, and you know, these were his people. He didn't want to stand by and watch them burn to death, you know.
Right, that was rough.
And when it came to
Yeah.
the Tarleys, he was very adamant. He's like, "Look, this is the it. You kill these two. That's it for this house name. They're done." You know. And so he was kind of standing up for him. He was trying to get her to not take their lives. And that I saw that point. You know. I mean, it's like there's got to be. The problem is, like Skiz said, once she said, "You bend the knee or you're dead," what choice did she have at that point? She had to follow through with that. Otherwise, every other person that she was trying to get to follow her was going to think she was weak.
That's right.
And it's kind of like
That's
kind
right.
of like a parenting rule. You don't threaten your kids with something and then not follow through if you don't, you know what I mean, abide by what you're telling them to do.
Poor Dickon, man. You know, I felt bad for him.
His,
I
his
didn't like
father
that.
did not want him to stand up like that.
No.
But he
He did.
realized the foolish pride that his father instilled in him is what caused his death.
Yeah.
And it was a rough moment because the father sucks. We saw what the father did to Sam. That sucked. And then now, but Dickon has been nothing but a fantastic, like, he's just like a great dude. He has
Yep.
very, very little face time, but every second that he's on the screen, you really, really want to like him. And then, boom, he's gone because of this pride that's been dumped on him from his, it was brutal, man. It was terrible. And it was brilliant writing because it goes back to what we were saying is that this causes the audience to have a little bit of turmoil when it comes to getting behind Danny right now because killing the dad, yeah, everybody's okay with that. But Dickon, that was not cool.
Yeah.
That was not cool, man.
So Gorewings is asking, do you guys watch Inside the Episode series on GOT YouTube? I do not.
Yeah, it's about maybe 5 to 8 minutes. It's usually the producers David and Dan that talk about what happened in the episode, a little bit more behind the scenes, kind of what maybe the characters might have been thinking.
Oh.
It's good to see. It really is.
This is why Mkbean carries this show. Because he watches that and we don't.
Yeah. Homeboy knows his
I
stuff.
don't even think he read the books.
Oh.
All right,
Yeah.
there's your
So,
answer.
yep. This is I tell you what, the best part about this though, it's pretty sad, but they get burned to a crisp. Immediately, everyone bends a knee.
Yeah. The few
That's what you
stragglers
would
that were
expect.
standing up for themselves. Yeah. I don't want to be
No,
those
that-
ashes. I'm going to just go
That
ahead and
made
bend,
sense.
Bend the knee.
That made sense. That made perfect sense. And that was the power that Danny was trying to illustrate. Is this, in the second it happened, they were like, yeah, I have no choice.
Yeah, but
Like, there's
I don't know.
no way around this.
Does she really want to lead out
Through
of
fear.
right?
Agreed. You don't want that.
That
Yep.
was the message that was sent. Before she was the breaker of chains, and that's why people
Yep.
followed her. And now the people following her only out of fear. So that was a big change in how
Yep.
she's been leading these armies.
Yeah, and she
Yeah.
brought, like he said, she brought a foreign, force over there to fight, right? These weren't people from Westeros. And, how are people going to deal with that? Are they going to be okay with this foreign army that's invading their country? But if you look back to the very first Targaryen, Aegon Targaryen, when he went ahead and conquered the 7 kingdoms, actually 6, what did he do? He burned people. He did the same thing. Bend the knee or I will burn you here. Some did, some didn't. And hey, after a while, there were 7 wonderful kingdoms that lived pretty much in harmony. Maybe not all
After
the time.
a while.
But, you know, hey,
About,
when you have
for about
dragons,
30 seconds, they were pretty
you
pretty
can do what you
harmonious.
want. Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's a big change. I like what Sammy's saying. This could just be a setup for her to need Jon. Like, look at, she's been asking Jon for advice, and this relationship with Jon is definitely building. I mean, this moment's undeniably
man.
just like, there is so much going on right here, because we know what's going on. There's some Targaryen and stuff, you know what I mean? And the Drogon now, does he sense it? Is that why he's allowing Jon to touch him? And you look in her eyes, and she's going, my dragon's letting you do this? Like, something's... Either you're just a way cool dude and we should hook up, or something's going on here.
That was there too.
There was a lot. There was a lot to be read and misread from this encounter right here. It's crazy.
Yeah. So let me give you my take on this, is that there were 3 different point of views on this. One was from the dragon, and the dragon is the only one that knows that Jon has Targaryen blood in him. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting. The dragon feels it. The dragon doesn't know. The dragon just has a sense, like how dogs sense earthquakes and stuff, right? The dragon just feels it and knows it. Jon doesn't know. So Jon is at this point of view of like, why is this happening? Why is this dragon letting me do this? And then Dany has this point of view of, what is it that's so special about this man in front of me whom I feel so compelled to? And what I thought was awesome was I like most people, I get really into movies and shows and stuff like that. And when he reaches up and he touches like the lips, and it shows those gnarly teeth, like Drogon needs braces, by the way.
He needs a dental plan.
It shows, it shows like the teeth up high and stuff. When he reaches out, even though I knew deep down that he was completely safe, I was like, my heart stopped.
Yeah.
Like during that scene, I was like, I just want this scene to end, even though it's so amazing.
Great job. He had such a subtle shaking of the hand.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like, it was like, I'm being super brave by reaching out, but I am scared. You know what, Liz?
Yes, dude. Because this is what the dragon has to do. You looking? Look at me. Check it out. I'm the dragon. Now I'm cool. Everything's fine. And now you're dead. Like, it's like he's that close, dude. And he put himself, he made himself super vulnerable, dude. And it was such an incredible scene, because I almost feel like, and this is going over the line, but I almost feel like Jon and Drogon had a connection that Dany and Drogon have not had. Like, that's what it felt like, dude.
I think there might have been a little bit of jealousy there from her, or just at least confusion.
I think
what I liked the best was that, like you said, there's 3 points of view. Drogon's point of view, right? They're showing his eyes. I don't know if you saw his eyes, though, right?
Definitely.
Just that really deep blink, right? Really, there's like a 1 second pause there, like, love is what it was. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, agreed. That the eyes, showing the eyes, that was not a mistake. That was like very intentional. Like, is this his father, or what is going on here? Like, there's something. There's everything. The eyes are the windows to the soul, and all that nonsense. And it was something very, very, very real here. That was the dragon connecting with Jon in that moment, in that blink. I agree, Mkbean. That was very, very deliberate.
And then you go to Dany, right? Her perspective, right? You could take this from any single parent that's out there, right? These are her children, and they're very protective of their children, and she's going to be protective of her children. She's not just going to bring any guy around her kids, right? And think about her son, her oldest son, is kind of like, hey, this guy's pretty cool. All right, maybe, you know what, Mom, maybe it's okay if he comes over a couple times.
That's pretty cool, Mom. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
Oh, man. Yeah.
There was that was a pretty deep scene. Pretty deep.
I mean, just look how unbelievable Drogon looks. Look at that. Look at the behind his head right there. That is like the guy, whoever was the artist that created this rendition. Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. That is one of the scariest and most magnificent things I've ever seen in my life. And that scene specifically, I've never, since the movie How to Train Your Dragon, I've never seen a movie get so intimate with a dragon before. And this was so, like, it was so touching. And like this dragon, like moments before, just fried people. But I still felt like he was like this pet that I wanted to care for. And that's what they did. They brought this character. It was wonderful. This scene was amazing.
And
man.
Sammy asked a good question. So, is this leading towards John also riding a dragon in the future?
I think so, absolutely.
I would put money on it.
Yeah.
I would put money on it.
I think so
Yep.
too. I think so too.
Yep.
Yep. So who's writing the third one?
Tyrion. I don't know. I don't know. But we got some problems back in King's Landing, don't we? War's not.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, the coin's flipping back and forth here a little bit. Tyrion got, he got outsmarted by his brother Jaime at first, and now this happened, and all of a sudden, now Cersei's going. Jaime's telling her, right, we can't win this war, and Cersei's like, she's not quite sure anymore either, right? This is the talk of them trying to figure that out. Can they? What do they do?
She was under the, she did not want to bend a knee. She's like, so what? I can fight and maybe die, or I can surrender and die. So I'm just going to fight. Whatever. Yeah. I don't care. She was adamant about not giving in, not conceding an inch to him or to her.
Yeah, she's got her foothold. She is beyond delusional at this point. She's gotten way too much power than she should have. Jaime is trying to explain the math to her. Like, this is
he's experienced it. Yeah. God.
Yeah, this is what one dragon did. Okay. She's got 3. Okay, buddy. We cannot do this. And she's like, well, we're gonna. He's like, oh my God.
Dang it.
Oh, man. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. It's supposed to be here today.
But this is where, what's interesting is this is where, I think, he explained to her they have dragons and they're going to kill us. And she's like, well, we've got money now at the Iron Bank. We'll just bring on some cell swords. So it's, again, Westeros is being defended and liberated by foreign soldiers.
He's like, they're not going to beat the Dothraki. I've seen them fight.
Exactly. They love to fight.
These guys, this was like a game to them. They weren't even worried about their lives.
Yeah.
This was just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a joke. They were making jokes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure one of them cooked a pita pocket whilst fighting.
Making a sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh. That was with a butter knife.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Go back to making a
buttering sandwich. Stabs 3 people.
Exactly.
Hot pocket.
Hot pocket.
Oh, yeah.
And he's trying to explain this to her, man, and she does. I actually want your guys' point of view on this. So in my mind, I actually believe that she's delusional at this point. I think she's very, very smart, but I do see her as delusional. Do you see her as delusional or stubborn? Now you're about to say both, but I want to hear, like, what is it? Is she more stubborn than she is delusional, or more delusional than she is stubborn?
I think she's more delusional.
Agreed. What do you think,
Yeah.
Andy?
I was thinking stubborn, actually.
Were you?
I was thinking stubborn. She just cannot bear to lose, Think about her father. Like, her father, and this was later on. We'll get to that later, but her father always seemed to find ways out of these types of situations. So for her to prove that she is her father's daughter and very capable like her father was, she wants to prove that she can find a way around this problem. Yes, they're destined to lose right now, but if she's able to overcome that somehow, she's now proven this greatness and she can live up to her father's standards and maybe above. Right, and be known forever for it. And I think that's what's really driving her here. I mean, yes, she's obviously delusional, but I think her drive is just to prove that she can fulfill her father's shoes and maybe then some.
Well, though I think that she's mostly delusional, there's a lot of merit in what you're saying, because she is constantly referring to what did father say and what does father say and over and over and over again. It's like, dude, zip it. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone, but she wants to prove that she's her father's daughter.
Yeah,
True.
she is. Evil says daddy's girl. Oh, man.
So,
boy.
That brings us to...
A little bit of a creepy scene.
Oh,
all
dude.
these ravens just
Yeah.
flying.
I really liked this scene. I really liked the way they built up to it, because when the ravens were flying, I liked the shot of their eyes going from normal black eyes to the white eyes to the black eyes to the white eyes. Now, Mkbean will probably be able to shed more light on this, but what I at least thought that was Bran tapping into
Looking
them
through
one
them,
by
yeah.
one or whatever,
right.
Yeah,
right?
he was warging.
Every
right.
time their eyes went white, that was him becoming them or whatever for a brief moment. Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so that was kind of cool because it was sort of hard to catch, and that's something that this show does, is they don't make anything overly obvious, which I kind of dig. You know what I mean? It's almost like tiny Easter eggs everywhere. So you have these crows flying, and everything's fine, and the eyes would go white and then back for just a split second. Now, they were deliberate enough to show it a couple times, but every time they did it, I'm like, this is really cool. And then, of course, they would show Bran, so we weren't really splitting the atom here, but it was kind of cool to just bring that connection between him and them and realize, to me, in my eyes, this was a testament to how truly powerful Bran is. Like, my goodness gracious, to have that kind of recon almost anywhere like that was an impressive scene, man.
It was, but it was also there to make the point of Bran is very powerful, but the Night King is more powerful because he shut them down like that.
Oh, that was vicious.
that was the
Just
point
by
of
looking.
this, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
I don't like
"Get
that he
outta
knows
here,
everything,
son."
by the way.
You know, like,
Yeah.
you can't.
saw, yeah. You're right. He looked up at the birds and he's like, street lights are on. Run along, boy.
Yeah. And I think that's what this whole scene was about. Was look how powerful Bran is, but look how powerful the Night King is. So there's your whole setup right there. But Bran got the information he needed. Bran got the information he needed, which was good. This is where they're going. He got enough out of it, so it was definitely worth it. But geez, I thought like when the Night King saw him that like somehow Bran was gonna like go into a seizure or something. Like I
started going, hold the door.
He got the birds away, but I just what else how can this transfer back? So
this is also where I was trying to pause when we ended our stream last week, right?
Right, we're trying to figure out who's in the middle.
It was the group. Yeah, I thought it was the group that was going to be heading north, but no, it was the Night King and his crew there.
Yep.
Yep. So many people
looking over everything.
That's before we move on to the next picture. I kind of want to echo Impulse's sentiment here. Is that I think that was a very astute observation, man. This whole scene was about getting behind Bran and how powerful he was and how much influence he has, and he's able to, tie into these animals, and you're going along on that journey, and then it comes over the hill and you see the dead, and you're like, oh my gosh. But the whole time you're thinking, man, this is so great to have somebody on our side who's got this kind of reconnaissance, and then what's the king's name?
The Night King.
The Night King. The Night King just looks up, just like you're saying, looks up and just shatters all my illusions. You know what I mean? Like immediately I was like, I felt good for a second. Thanks a lot, Game of Thrones writers. Like I felt so good. And then he looked up at me, and I'm at home sitting on my sofa, and the Night King looks up, and I was like, whoa! Like at that moment I felt so good, man. Then I felt terrible.
But you know what? What's different here is that wargs have been around, right? Even in the show, the wargs have been around several times, and the difference is that Bran can just basically have an army of crows or ravens or whatever they are, whatever type of animal it is. He seemed to be just controlling all of them.
Yeah.
In the past, we've only seen it, with one here and there. That was it. There wasn't multiple.
That's a really good point too, dude.
Yeah, he's getting powerful. Right?
What if he takes over one of the dragons?
See, that's what I'm waiting for. He's got to know that the dragons actually exist. So I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna go for a little ride.
Well, that's
don't you think if he took over to the dragon to tell the dragon what to do, the dragon would be like, get out of me! I know what I'm doing.
That's what the original three-eyed raven told him, right? You will never walk again, but you will fly. So, I mean, when he said that, was he really just referring to you'll fly as a raven? I feel like it was more. Like,
I agree.
You're not going to make a big deal out of the fact that you're going to fly, son, if you're just going to be a little raven. Like,
you're going to be a butterfly.
Maybe that was a foreshadowing to him taking over flying as a dragon, you know? I mean, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. We'll see.
I think
we don't know. We're just hypothesis. Yeah. So
he's got to work into a worm.
Speaking of hypothesis, what's your guys' hypothesis on the whole point of this conversation? Because I got to be honest, I don't know if this was above me or what, but this conversation, I didn't quite get the gist of it, the whole thrust of this sit down here. So I'll let you guys carry me a little bit on this one.
My take on this, and let me say mine first, because Mkbean knows more about this stuff, so I don't want mine to come off as influenced by Mkbean. I kind of felt like Varys was sort of saying, listen, you've got her ear, you have influence, don't make the same mistakes I did. When you think you're not responsible, you're responsible. I felt like it was Varys passing down to Tyrion, you are more in tune with our future than you think you are. You are not just the hand. You are not just somebody who offers advice. You are directly related to what the future is. Don't think you're not. And that's what I thought that when he kept talking about how when they were burning, I was saying, well, I didn't give the order, or it's not because of me. He was obviously, he was disclosing, I felt guilty the rest of my life because that is me. I was part of that. Maybe I didn't give the command, but I may as well have. And he was passing on to him, don't make the same mistakes I did.
No, absolutely. He's guilty by association there, right? And, he said, I'm not the head, I'm the hand. That's kind of a cop-out right there, He needs to be a ride or die guy, and I don't know if he was right there. You got it, you're either with her or not. So
yeah.
But let's get to the best part of this scene. Okay, the best part of the scene was when he had the message. The sealed scroll. And Tyrion says, what's it say?
Oh, it's sealed.
Right. It's sealed.
All right, what's it say?
Nothing good. Nothing good.
What is this? I almost wonder if I'm forgetting.
So it was the message that Bran had sent to Dragonstone, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He told him it was sealed.
Okay, great. But nothing good? Like, this is
nothing good,
Jon finding out that his brother,
nothing good as in it's
sister...
not positive news. It's not, you know what I mean? That's what it is.
Okay. Well, yeah, because there was a whole thing about the White Walkers heading to the east and whatever in that, right?
Yeah, at first I was with you. I thought it was like, nothing good. It's nothing. No, it was like,
good.
No.
This is Jon finding out his family's alive. That's good, but of course they don't care, I guess.
They don't care. Tyrion would care.
He got bigger fish right now.
Yeah. Yay, Jon's brother and sister are alive. Woohoo!
But not for long, because here comes the Walking Dead.
Yep, family reunion time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess they cut to Jon, right? This is right after he's actually read this. And he's like, I gotta go, guys. I gotta go. I just got a note. They're getting pretty close. I got my dragon glass. I'm gonna get in the boat. Give me like 30 minutes. I'll be back to the wall where I need to be.
Yeah, exactly. Not even 30 minutes. What was interesting about this, though, is that there was so much going on with this scene. First off, we get to see Jorah, right? We don't really have a shot of Jorah coming to shore.
Yeah, that's not in here. Okay.
But Jorah is now there, and he's even saying, hey, listen, let me go as well. What's great is that Jon, kind of talks about, hey, I served with your father. It was great, to be able to see that. But he says, let me serve you. Let me go up north with him. And I love that Davos is like, well, you don't want to bring me because I'm a disaster in a battle. So I'll just, do something else. And then you've got Tyrion talking about, hey, listen, we've got to somehow and what he's talking about there is all living people need to get on the same page here. Us and Dany, us and Cersei. And so I need to somehow convince her that this is a real threat. And so you need to go up north, go ahead and just snag yourself a little,
I said this last week.
Just grab one, whatever.
I said it last week.
Come with me.
Remember?
Yeah.
I said, you got to grab one of them. Grab one of these dead and then show them to people.
Just grab one. I'm just thinking back to the picture we just saw a couple. Just grab one of the thousands and thousands. It'd be easy to grab one out of that group, right? How do you even do that? We're gonna find out next week, I'm sure, but
Looks like
that's crazy.
Definitely.
Oh, so yeah, so they're gonna end up going to King's Landing. I like how how many you get there. You got Davos, the great smuggler. He'll be able to get them into there. I mean, just there was so much going on here, and then he didn't really want to let him go, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I gotta go. You can't keep me here." What's great about this is he's the king, and he's like, "I need to be the guy who goes beyond the wall." Yeah. This is the guy that you could get behind right here.
And Dany was like, didn't want to let him go. I'm starting to grow fond of you. She
exactly,
said to that effect, and it was like, all right. Yeah.
Let's get it on.
Yeah, a little auntie-nephew action there. So...
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, I named this wrong. What? I skipped one, sorry.
You did skip a very important
Hang on. We can do this.
We have the technology.
Very, very important one.
Sorry.
You, buddy.
Sorry, apparently I clicked.
Oh, you got to add it to your scene. I see.
Picked the wrong picture.
Okay, man.
I knew something went wrong there. Hang on.
We're gonna go to Winterfell, though. That's where we're gonna go.
This was a great one, because when it came through, I'm like sitting there. I didn't do the whole pause, and try to read this thing.
I did, and I'm looking at it right now, and I still am struggling. I'm telling you right now, dude. I was like, no way that the creators expected the audience to read that unless you pause. And then I pause and I'm like, I can't even read it all. What? But this is extremely pivotal. All I see in here is so-and-so is dead, killed from wounds he took in a blah. And then blah, blah, Joffrey tried to steal his throne. Something about swear something.
Okay, so is dead, killed from his wounds he took from... That is talking about
Robert?
Baratheon. Yeah, Robert Baratheon. And that Ned was... This is the letter... They talked about this in season 1. This is the letter that Cersei made her write her family.
Made who write what?
Not Cersei. Sansa.
Cersei, your faithful sister.
Cersei made Sansa write
this letter. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. She wanted Robb to come and bend the knee and basically just say, hey, And I honestly think that if he would have done that, she would have been okay, and he would have been the warden in the north and everything like that. But it was never going to happen.
I do not remember that.
Yeah.
So this is so Cersei made Sansa write this and send it to her family.
Remember, season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It seems like Sansa was. She had a lot of issues, right? I mean, she's effectively at this point a prisoner in season 1. She knows she's betrothed to a madman, a psychopath. Yeah, and so. But she still wanted to please, right? She still wanted to say, okay, or maybe she was just smarter than all of us and she was just going along with it. But
she just wanted to not get her head chopped off.
But at this point,
whatever Cersei said you do,
Ned was alive,
die, right?
Yeah, Ned was still alive at this point, though. So I think she just knew she had to play the game, and she was playing the game to the best of her abilities at the point.
So let me ask you this. Let's get to the actual crux of what this scene was supposed to be. The whole time you think Arya is spying on Littlefinger, but Littlefinger set that whole thing up. I feel like every person who he talked to in that little scene where he said, thank you for this, and Cersei owes a debt to you or whatever, all those people were like planned. He planned that whole thing for Arya to watch him for whatever this was. I feel like this was a chess game and he's winning.
Tavi's got it there. He's trying to get the sisters against each other, right?
Against each other, yeah.
Yeah,
and you can see that
he knows he can control Sansa somewhat, but now he's got this rogue player in the game, and literally is like a rogue. I mean, she's an assassin, right? And how he needs to get them to fight to not to the death, but they can't be on the same side.
They can't be tight, and you can see that in the previews for the next week, which we'll talk about later. But you can see it coming to fruition there.
Yeah,
he's such a jerk. I just want to punch him.
He is. You should.
I would punch him. Look at this. Anybody who knows me, this is actually a big mid here, dude. This is a big mid.
It is pretty big.
Oh my! I'll put it right there in his suckhole, dude, and be done.
that Gentry could use that as his hammer.
Oh God.
Oh man, we'll
Why
talk
don't I
about
have
that.
Yeah,
We'll get
that's
there. We'll
coming up
get
here.
there.
That is.
But first, we got the situation with Sam and Gilly here. Of course, the scene prior to this was pretty heavy, right?
Yeah, you had all those archmaesters in there kind of debating what's going on, and they get the letter from Bran talking about, what he saw.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
debating that. And,
It's just a
kudos for
ploy
Sam
from
for speaking
Cersei,
up.
blah, blah,
Agreed.
blah, and they were just
No,
being-
from Danny, yeah. From the dragon lady, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Sam got pretty upset. He's like, guys, look, I've seen him. You need to wake up.
bunch of
This is
idiots.
real.
Yes.
Stop second guessing this stuff. This kid
Yeah.
knows what he's talking about. I've
Yeah.
seen him. We're all screwed unless you guys wake up. There's books that'll tell us how to defeat these guys. But you guys are
Yeah.
too dumb to read them.
He said
Yeah.
somehow a crippled boy had survived for years beyond the wall when no one else could. Not the Night's Watch, not wildlings,
Yeah.
no one. A
Maybe
crippled
we
boy.
should listen. And I like that because this whole time, show after show, he's been like, well, maybe this. I've seen them, and this is real. And then if I could just do this, if I could just explain, just let me read this. But this was the first time he had it. Like they were talking about it, he's all, they're real. And they would talk on, he's all, they're real. Like he's just over it. He's over it. He's like, I'm kind of done with you morons. They're real. And I don't even feel compelled to explain them to you anymore. They're real. You believe me or you don't. And that's
Sam
what I think
had-
that was setting up this scene where he had his breaking point.
Sam had always put these people on pedestals, right? And now he's amongst them, and he's starting to realize he actually might know more than they do. He's lived the lives
full
they
on.
have, but also that also makes him able to be more open-minded and realize, what's right and what's wrong. And
Well, I thought it was nice though that the Archmaester did say, okay, well at least we'll look into it, and I do believe him. I think that they are going to kind of try to get some more information there, but I think he's also realizing the bureaucracy of the Citadel, right? It's like, got to go through all these
Yep.
things, and then of course he leaves, right? And that's the boy who just lost his father and brother, right? I haven't had
And
the
he-
heart to
he
tell
did.
him.
He doesn't know yet.
He
Yeah,
did,
yeah.
but they didn't really talk about whether. So he said he had yet to tell him, right?
Yeah,
that was the
so
scene.
he doesn't know.
That was a scene before this one. I was
Oh.
kind of wondering during this scene right here, this scene we're looking at,
Yep,
if
yep.
he had been told right before this, which is
I don't
part
think
of the
so.
reason why he had the forget it. I'm breaking in. I'm getting the books. We're moving. We're out of here.
I don't think he knows.
You
I don't
don't
think
you don't
so.
think he's been
No.
told? Okay, I wasn't sure
Nope.
because he acted pretty like just not irrationally, but like he just up and left. He made some pretty bold decisions right here, and I thought
He did.
maybe finding out that his dad and brother were killed were the catalyst to that, or the final straw, if you will.
Yeah, he just got pissed off and said, that's it. But, I mean, guys, hopefully you guys caught this when you watched this, right, with what Gilly said. She's talking about the steps and the craps this guy made. And then, she talked about what's an annulment.
Yeah.
And then she said that, Maynard says here he issued an annulment for a Prince Rhaegar and remarried him to someone else at the same time in a secret ceremony in Dorne. Well, where was Lyanna and the Tower of Joy? They were in Dorne. That's where Ned got her. And rescued her, or at least went to get go to her.
I didn't get it. I didn't understand.
I didn't.
get that?
I didn't follow it either.
No.
I didn't
This
follow
is
it
what
either. I'm
is
embarrassed.
Leatherneck Loki was
Yeah.
trying to point out to me earlier, and I was like,
This is legitimizing
Over my head.
John. In the previous episode, John and Davos talked to Missandei about, oh, this is King Snow or whatever. And she started asking him about what a bastard is, right? It's where your mom and your father aren't married, and well, he was legitimized. He was a Targaryen, and so like they're also saying in the chat, that makes him the rightful ruler of Westeros, which of course it doesn't really matter, right? But I mean, he would be he's got a better claim than Dany does now. He's no longer a bastard. Of course, how are we going to find all this stuff out? They took that book with them, so hopefully they'll read that book again. But they're heading up north now. And I don't know if you could see it, but I did look because I had to pause it. He did have his sword with him, right? The sword that he stole from his family's sword.
Wow.
That was in the cart with him. You've got to have that, smartest thing to have with you is a, Valyrian steel sword.
Yeah. Oh, don't want to leave that at home.
Yeah, now I feel like an idiot for missing all that. Like I just,
Me too.
Like Sam was just so upset, and I figured whatever she was saying was just nonsense with the steps and the poops. I didn't listen past that really.
I'm worse than you, dude. I'm worse than you. I was like, my focus is on Sam. What she's saying is nonsense, but I know these writers. This is everything. Yeah. What she's saying, there's something important here, and I still missed it. Dude. Oh, that feels good. I must have looked away from the TV for a second.
I'm sorry. I told you there were some parts where I don't know if I was just in my own head or what, but I feel like I honestly missed, and I definitely missed that. So, yeah.
Yep.
I'm glad.
I think so, Tabby.
Thanks for filling me in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think eventually they're going to find out, probably in the next one. We're going to find out. Bran, so he's going to the wall. So on the way to the wall, literally, hey, look, right there's Winterfell. So they're going to go stop by Winterfell, especially that he knows now that Bran is there. So I'm sure he's going to talk to him about this as well. So they're going to meet up, I'm sure, in the next episode or the final episode.
It's going to be crazy.
All right,
just about as crazy as Tyrion finding his way to King's Landing and talk to his brother here.
Oh yeah.
You like all my segues?
Hey, that works perfect. we practice these so much.
No, it's good. Well done.
Oh, it is great though. I first off, before we get to this, I love when Davos kind of just leaves his boat there and he's like, "Well, what are you gonna do with your boat? What if they come for it? Well, we'll have to find a new way home."
Yeah. He's like, "We're screwed."
Yeah, we're screwed.
Yeah. That's it.
If they take our boat, then I hope you can swim.
Yeah, Sammy, I thought the same thing, right? How did Tyrion even get a hold of Bronn? This whole kind of meeting was kind of, there's some gaps there, but
Dragons.
We're
always, whenever we can't explain the logistics of something, we're just going to say the word dragons.
The dragons held a little message in his teeth.
I just see Tyrion outside of Bronn's window just throwing pebbles. Ping, ping. hey, buddy.
Yeah, we used to be friends, remember?
Hey,
buddy,
you can give me a meeting with my brother? I got some serious stuff to talk about.
Hey, buddy. Buddy, can you come out here, buddy?
He hasn't paid your debt, but I will.
Yeah. This was great because the way they set it up to where Bronn, they snowed me. I really thought that they were going to do a sparring lesson, and then Bronn steps aside, and there's Tyrion. I'm like, oh, right. And he revealed him, and I was like, this is a great moment because the way they're just staring at each other. What a great picture. Like,
and Jaime had this sword. Jaime had the sword. Yes, it was a sparring sword, but it's like...
Still.
It's
still a big piece of metal.
Wants to kill him, right?
He said that. He said, if I ever see him again... Yeah, he's gonna kill him.
Yeah.
And I really think the only reason why he didn't here is because he had the definitive proof that he didn't kill Joffrey.
Yeah.
I think he was upset that he killed his father, but he didn't kill his son, even though he was doofus.
What bothered me is that he talked about the fact that he killed his father, and then Tyrion says his reasoning. He's like, he was going to kill me, knowing I was innocent.
Yeah.
He was going to kill me, not because of what I did, but because of who I am. And then Jaime's like, what do you want? And I was like, all right, that kind of sucks.
Kind of cut him off there. Didn't really give much empathy for his story there, which I was kind of wanting a little bit, just a little bit, not a lot, but he cut him off pretty hard. So that kind of bothered me a little bit. I wish he'd give him something, but no, he cut him off. He's like, that's enough. He's not over it, obviously, which I get. But yeah, pretty crazy. So.
Yeah, in that show that they had mentioned, right, with the kind of almost like the behind the scenes of the episodes, like behind them right now, you've got that humongous skull. What's really great about that, what you see in the kind of the after the show, that's not CGI. That's an actual mold that they made of that skull right there.
Is it really?
Wow.
Which, again, makes things so much more realistic.
I want that.
The dragon was actually real too. Wait, no, it wasn't.
I want that to be my headboard.
Well, then it's real.
Oh, so we good then. We're gonna go ahead and shift over to Davos. Now, did you guys know who this was when he turned around?
Okay, I remember seeing this character. What feels like 3 seasons ago.
I was so confused here.
It was a long time ago.
This is Robert's illegitimate son, right?
One of like 16, yes.
Yeah, but the last one living.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember this, and I was like, well, how is it Skiz, who remembers nothing, I remember this? And he was not like a big part of the show. He was in it very, very briefly. They sent out to kill him, right?
You know, though, he was in, yeah, but also, no, remember, actually, season 2, episode 1, it's right after Ned dies, right? And actually, it might be the episode, yeah, it was episode 1. He is part of the crew that's going with Arya, or Ari at the time, because she was posing as a boy, and he was with her on those travels up north. So they became friends.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
and
wow.
he was the one who realized, hey, you're not a boy. Every time you go to the bathroom, you're sitting down, you're squatting. So he actually found out who she was early on, so which I really hope that they get to kind of meet up again, right? Because that was just, they had a great relationship, and then of course he was sold off to the Brotherhood Without Banners, and bad things happened with the Red Witch, and but I was just happy to see him. And Davos' best line, because the last time you saw him, Davos helped him escape Dragonstone and put him on a boat, a rowboat, and just told him to keep rowing. And what's he tell him? He says, I thought you might still be rowing 3 seasons later.
Is that what he said?
Oh, man. Wow. I need to go back and watch the previous seasons because I feel like I remember nothing of them. I had no clue what was going on with this guy. The only thing I kept thinking of was the hammer being significant. And only because you've kind of mentioned it, that there was this very significant hammer in the books, right? But not from
Robert, yep.
him, but yeah, from
it's his
from
father.
elsewhere.
His father had a war hammer.
Yeah,
And
so he's
he
now
had,
carrying on that legacy, right?
Oh yeah, the Baratheons got to have the warhammer. So what happened was that what started all this, obviously, was with the Robert's rebellion, and he fought Rhaegar Targaryen on the Trident, and he crushed his just chest in with that warhammer. Not that one, but with Robert's warhammer. That's what he defeated him with. So it's so cool to actually see that warhammer. So happy.
Well, he wields it like a champ, dude.
Oh wow.
When he took it upon those 2 sentries, like they were about to get out, and they, then they got all greedy, and then he did his thing, and it was just like bam, bam, and it was like,
and he was so quick to go, right? He's like, all right, let's go, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So we don't have a picture of it.
Yeah, we
I
don't
do
have
want to
that
talk
scene
about
in here, but that was a good scene.
I want to talk though about that was excellent, right? When they're about to leave and they're trying to, and then Tyrion walks up and just ruins it all.
Just kind of ruins it. But I mean, yeah. So the whole, what was that? Davos, right?
Yep.
Was trying to give them what was it? Fermented crab or something.
Something
and
like
that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, this will, it was like Viagra for the,
Put a hole through your arm.
Exactly.
He had him.
6 to midnight.
He had him sold like that. To me was like, okay, this guy has said over time and time again. They set it up in this episode and before that he doesn't fight. He doesn't fight, but he's able to come up with these things like that to get out of these situations. And he was almost there until Tyrion walked up, which was pretty cool. It was pretty crazy to see. It was like
he was going to give him.
He's
all
got a
of his
different
gold,
weapon.
too.
It's called his tongue. Like he's able to just talk his
he's
way out of stuff.
He's a silver tongue. He has a silver tongue.
Yeah.
And he's able to, that's a skill set. It's a very real skill set that he's mastered. And Tyrion comes up.
Next got it. That's why he was a smuggler, and he was good at his job. So
yeah.
So they get back though to Dragonstone, and Davos is like, "All right, listen, you're just here to help out. Don't tell anybody who you are. Blah 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 blah."
Yeah.
A half a second in the conversation, I'm Robert Baratheon's bastard son. Nice to meet you.
Just completely ignores everything he says. And you're
That
like,
was supposed to be a
dude,
secret.
I think that was the first time in this episode my jaw was just like dropped. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I loved
Guys,
it. I thought that was really funny.
It goes back to, again, the very first episode of this entire show when Robert Baratheon goes up north and they're at Winterfell and he's got his, his suit on and he's this big guy and he goes up to Ned, right? And he's kind of looking at him and stuff like that. I thought you'd be taller. I thought you'd be skinnier. And they start laughing. The same thing happens here, right?
Yeah,
They've never seen each other, met each other. Oh, I thought you'd be taller. Oh, I thought you'd be fatter. And then they start laughing. It's like they have this immediate connection, which I love.
Yeah, he said you're leaner, and he said you're shorter.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Just great.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, man. And then we get to this?
Oh,
How about this
man.
bombshell?
Baby
You know,
watch.
just when Jamie was almost out.
Right?
Just when he was almost out.
Finally
That
he's
is
gonna realize Cersei
frustrating.
sucks, and he's gonna go figure
He
things
sucks,
out.
but
Come on, guys.
You
You
know-
know having a kid will always fix things.
well, that's my point. He was out, and he seemed like he was genuinely happy.
Yeah.
I think he was. Well, he
And
was.
then
He was
even
happy
more
because
happy when she said she would go ahead and tell everybody that it was theirs, right?
exactly.
It's like, oh,
Yes,
finally,
I have
I get to be
another
the
child with my
actual
sister.
father. Yeah. Oh god.
Yep.
Yeah.
When he said, "What did his father always say? The lion does not concern himself with the opinion of the sheep."
Yeah.
Yep.
Way to go.
Yeah,
Guys,
great. Another
there's
psycho child on the way.
There's no way this baby lives. And I'll tell you why, because the prophecy from her, from Maggie the Frog, has always said she will have 3 children. There's no way that this child will live. Something is going to happen.
Wow.
This baby's gonna fly the 3rd dragon, buddy.
I think Jamie's got a pincher in the gut. No,
Oh,
I don't know, but the baby's not living.
That'd have been a great way to end this episode. Just like I'm pregnant, he's like, and then the credits just roll.
Wow.
Oh, terrible.
Leatherneck Loki says she's lying.
No.
I think she's lying.
No,
So,
no.
There was more to this scene, though, right? This scene also talked about the fact that she knew what was going on. She knew Jaime met Tyrion, and she wanted to know if Bronn was going to be punished. Right? That all happened here as well in this exact scene. Am I right? It wasn't the one earlier. It was
Yes,
this one.
yes. This is where
So
she
there was a
did.
lot
She
going
knew
on
what was going
here.
on. But let me just say, I
You might actually
believe,
be lying.
I believe 100% that she is pregnant because Qyburn was there in that room, and I think he was kind of checking up on her because she is pregnant, and he probably gave her the news. I think she is pregnant. Absolutely.
Well, do you remember what he says when Jamie walks in? If you listen, I rewound it like 50 friggin' times, dude. He does say, and it's very subtle. What's his name? Qyburn or something?
Qyburn.
He says to her, "I can give you something."
Yeah.
He says that,
No,
and
I didn't hear that.
could mean many things. Yeah, if you listen, he says, "I can give you something," and then she shuts up when Jamie walks in. Now, my mind went to, like, I could give you poison to give Jamie. Like, that literally is what my mind went to, because she's just that awful.
Or
But maybe he meant,
or
like,
some sort of abortion type thing.
Yes,
Right? Could be that as well.
abortion
but-
type thing, or maybe something for the nausea, or
Yep.
maybe
yeah.
it was just. It could have been a fidget spinner. It could have been anything, but the other stuff.
A
A
fidget
fidget
spinner.
spinner. That's what they need to introduce to the show.
No,
That's
just
gonna
like
win
all
the
of a
war.
sudden,
That's
fidget
gonna-
spinner and an iPad.
You know, she definitely, like you said, though, Impulse, she knew that he was meeting with his brother, which is crazy. But you know what? When you have all those little kids, all those little spiders out there, you know what's going on. And she told him, "Never betray me again."
Yeah, I did not
that's
like
how
that.
She ended that. Yeah.
I didn't like that. They had this moment. She's like, by the
she
way,
kind of ruined it, right? Like, that was kind of like, I have you, but just so you know, I still own you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it
she-
was.
yeah.
That was.
no, she totally ruined it. It was like
Jamie,
a special
man,
moment.
Jamie,
She's like, I'm still above you.
I
And I don't
want
like
to
her
like
constant-
Jamie, but he keeps going back to her, and it's hard to like
Yeah.
him when he's.
Yeah,
He's
well,
he's sister.
love
whipped.
makes you do stupid things.
Well, yeah, but what? And that is what's impressive about this actress, is that she really is the woman who plays her is fantastically gorgeous, and she's done such a great job at this role that, man, am I able to see past all of that and realize how terrible she is, man.
You know the other movies that she's been in?
Yeah, she was in 300, dude.
300. She was Sarah
Yeah.
Connor in one of the Terminators, I believe. Yeah,
He was? I don't remember being Sarah Connor.
I believe so. Dread as well. Yeah.
I remember her in 300, but yeah,
Yeah.
we don't want to talk about why. Anyway.
He's a knockout, man.
Yeah.
Moving on. Family Channel.
To the final scene. Great scene, by the way. They make it up there. In the intro, by the way, if you guys saw, new area, which was Eastwatch. That was actually in the introduction. I was happy to see that. And
yep. I knew right away they were going to go up there at some
Yep.
point because they added that to the introduction. So that's one thing I've learned from Mkbean is that you got to pay attention to that introduction and where they show. That's kind of how you know what's going to happen. Yeah.
I love it. This group comes up there, and Tormund just puts him in jail. He's not going to let him go past. He puts him in jail instead. And so, John gets up there with his new crew, and he's like, "Hey, we need to go across the wall here. You gotta do some things. We got some business to attend to." And he's like, "Well, hey, I got these other guys here. They wanted to do the same thing." And now this is interesting, guys, because you got the guy on the left there. The guy on the left is Beric Dondarrion, the guy who's been brought back to life like 5 or 6 times by the guy next to him, Thoros of Myr.
Who's apparently a huge alcoholic because he's like going through withdrawals right now.
It's just like these are the 2 guys who have been brought back to life. There are going to be some interesting conversations as they go on this trip together, I think,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But what I found interesting about this whole scene is that this whole squad's being put together, and it reminded me it was very Suicide Squad-esque.
Oh yeah, it is.
You know what
They're
I mean?
all there
It was
for
like
different reasons, but
this band of misfits going to come together and use their very unique skills to pull something off. I thought it was a very, very clever way to wrap up this episode.
And even the Hound's just like, look, let's just stop talking. Let's just do this. Let's just go.
Yeah, I love it. They start to get deep with words again. He's like, oh my God, shut up. Are we doing it or not?
But what I liked about this is everyone was kind of like, John was like, hey, you're the Hound. And then Gendry was like, oh, this is a bad group of guys here. It's like everyone kind of knew each other, or they knew bits and pieces of everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, they all like made these different connections. Like, oh, I remember the Hound. You're the Hound. Oh, you're this guy. Oh, you're that guy. And they all like knew each other from some crossroads in their life. It was interesting. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was good.
And then they walk out. Oh man, all of them together, and Tormund's with them as well. That's this group going up north. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. And do you guys get that same feeling as when the scene goes black and the credits are about to roll? Doesn't your heart just sink?
Yeah, because I'm like,
I'm like, God, I don't want to wait
7 more days.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's tough. But we do get the teaser, right? We get the teaser for what's to come.
Yes.
Do you have it queued up this time?
I felt it was a little one-sided. I wanted a little more. I'm a little worried because if you think about it, we're on episode 5 of 7. Next episode has to set up the finale of the season, right?
Well, first off, look at this. Okay, so it's episode 6. Now, guys, remember the previous 6 seasons. What was the biggest, baddest episode of the season? It was always episode 9. Let me go through the episode 9s for you. Season 1, Ned got beheaded, right? Season 2, Battle of Blackwater, huge explosion. Season 3, The Red Wedding. Season 4, the Wildlings and their crazy attack on the wall. Season 5 is when Dany got attacked in her area and Drogon had to fly her away. Last season, season 9, was Battle of the Bastards. This next episode has to be the episode 9 of the season.
You see, Mkbean, I knew that there was a reason to stay friends with you. That is some insightful stuff, man. Wow. I had no idea.
Season 9 or episode 9s have always been like the just like I said, an amazing episode, and so I cannot wait to see what episode 6 kind of sounds weird. I guess if you flip it upside down, it's a 9. It's going to be crazy, though.
All right. Well, let's get the preview going. I got it queued up here. We're going to just sit back. I got volume and everything. Might be a little too loud. We'll see. But, yeah, here goes.
Death is the enemy. The first enemy and the last. The enemy always wins. And we still need to fight him.
You're scared, aren't you? What are you scared of?
Crazy.
Flaming sword. Oh, man.
It's finally, yeah, we're gonna see the flaming sword, but I think so too, Lena. Very straightforward. Other than there was just a few little cuts in there with Arya and Sansa, something going. Obviously the rift is continuing there, but other than that, it pretty much was solely based around, this battle that's gonna happen north of the wall, right? So if we go through it, we see them walk in north of the wall. They're looking for, this is we're jamming through this fast. Yeah, there is a little cutscene of Dany and Tyrion here, so maybe they get a little bit more into their relationship, and what we've been seeing there as far as the differences. Maybe they talk about that, but I really got the feeling from this preview that this is going to be all about this war north of the wall.
I think so, yeah. There'll be a couple other things like you said, but it's going to be mostly that. And there's no title for this episode. The title hasn't been released yet, and the title has always got so many different meanings in it, and I just want to know what the title name is now.
I just want it to happen. Can it happen now? Can we just sit here and not even stop streaming until it's on? I'm in protest. The episode exists. If we get stubborn enough, they'll just play for me right now. Ready, set, go.
No.
No, there's been no leak of the episode. Even if there was, we wouldn't watch it. But yeah, I think they're gonna show more of the rift between Sansa and Arya. I think they're gonna show, Tyrion and Dany trying to work things out. I think Tyrion's gonna start trying to follow that advice that he was given, and try to get into Dany's ear a little bit again. But yeah, mainly, 90%, even more maybe, was just gearing up for this battle, right?
Yeah.
About fighting death. That was the whole message in the dialogue. So, crazy. I think you're right, Mkbean. This is the, episode 9, right? And it's going to be this big battle. And what I caught too, anybody see this? The Hound is swinging he's
like an axe? What is that thing? Some big something.
He's swinging. It looks like the hammer. Does it not?
Oh man.
I don't know. How does he end up with the hammer?
That's not a good sign, dude.
Well, maybe Gendry, could have been knocked down or something like that, and the Hound's got to save him.
Maybe. The Hound's pretty good swordsman.
Yeah,
does that look like?
Absolutely.
You think it's an axe? We'll find out. But the thing that concerned me here was, they're fighting. There is a scene. Okay, that's definite. Gendry's fighting with his. Who's he swinging
What were
at?
you just doing? What the heck is Skiz doing?
I was like, last Friday I did that.
Boy.
Yeah, that's the real hammer, dude. Somebody earlier said that hammer's got to be hollow, obviously insinuating that, man, that would be really,
That
really
would
heavy.
be a heavy hammer. Yeah. So Arya approaches Sansa in here.
I hate that.
There's your flaming sword that Mkbean is excited about.
That's just awesome.
Every time I see it, I think of Mkbean. He loves
I want a flaming sword.
Well, there's something you want
Somebody,
to tell us.
come
That's okay,
on.
too.
Gotta get Amazon's got to have something. Come on, hook Mkbean
Okay.
up. Put it on your wish
We'll look
list.
for
Maybe
a
somebody will hook you up.
Yes.
It does look cool.
But towards the end of this, you literally see these guys running for their lives. Something went south on them, and they are like, "We got to get out of here." So that's concerning.
Yeah, agreed. I was like, "What? If you went all that way, why are you sprinting in the other direction?"
Right, they're running somewhere. Now, trailers are often misleading. They could actually be running towards the White Walkers for all we know.
That doesn't look like they're running toward them.
No, it looks like they're scared and they're out.
No way
maybe
they're running.
they've tied up one of them and they're dragging them behind them and you can't see it. They've got the guy and they're just fleeing.
Maybe
now that they got the one
that
that
I
they
might
wanted.
get on board with, but running towards them, that's Roby 1 right there.
Roby.
We miss and love him.
Guys,
Yeah, He's got.
He's
John-
moving.
John's got to look right here.
By
wonder-
the way,
you
that's
coming?
like a 45-pound fur coat.
Who's gonna hit the
with me.
Porta John first?
Yeah,
Oh man.
like throwing bacon behind him and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but yeah, not much to talk about. Jesus, the Night King is just horrifying, though. Wow.
It's amazing
Could
how.
be Tavi. Yeah, look, maybe they're leading him some type of trap. That's true.
Oh, that could be it.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
point.
Follow me. Wink, wink.
Oh
could be
man,
good.
this guy here. Jeez.
That could very well be it. This dude here, again, this actor does nothing, and he's still like amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yep.
it's the makeup job that's amazing. I get that, but man, just that presence is so frightening.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bad dude. This guy. What does he
Yep.
want?
Rock on, you must have missed that. Yeah, we did get into that. We talked about the scene where Arya found the note, and we actually froze frame on the note and half read it because that's all they showed, but we kind of remembered where it was from. So you might have missed that. But yeah,
Guys, one of the things that I haven't seen in a while, in a couple episodes, just got me wondering. And we're not going to see it in this next episode from the previews. Is what the heck's going on with Euron Greyjoy?
well, what was the last? Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, right? So we got the Dorne ladies that are prisoner. With
I don't think they'll show them
the
again.
mother-daughter. You think they're done?
Oh,
right?
they're
Yeah,
done. They're
because the
done.
daughter's dead, and the mother's just going to watch the
And you
corpse
got
rot.
what's her name? What's her name? The sister, Theon's sister. I was
Yep.
forgetting. Yara.
Yara is in there.
They'll come back.
That's
She's,
They'll come back
she's still
to it.
prisoner with him, and
Euron. Yep.
yeah, with Euron. They haven't shown that, and what?
It's
2
just been a couple
now?
episodes. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a lot of episodes left.
Yeah, it's a long
I have a
trip.
question,
It's a
though.
long trip to Northern Ireland, so they might have had to go back for family wedding or something. They had to write them out of the episodes.
They may have forgot their keys or their sunglasses. I have a question
Missed
for
their
McBean.
flights.
I have a question. This is hey McBean. This is actually an embarrassing question. So if you could just bear with me, that'd be great. The last couple episodes, I've literally been like, "Am I just spacing a significant moment in this show?" And I may very well be. Who was? Remember the love interest of Danny's last season? Guy was kind of stud, killer fighter. Did he die?
So, no, she left him there to help kind of rule Marine while she was gone, right? So, and also Tyrion talked to her about you can't bring this sellsword with you, who's your lover, on the side to Westeros. You need to act like a queen. You need to be a queen. And so she had a talk with him, and he even said, Tyrion put you up to this. And she's like, no. And then she gets done, walks in her kind of throne room there, and there's Tyrion, and she talks to him about it. So yeah, he's back there.
Okay, so I feel better now because I was like, do I really not remember that? How have they not even brought this guy in?
Yeah, what's interesting is, if Cersei's talking about getting the Golden Company, he was a sellsword. He didn't work for the Golden Company, but it would be interesting to see if he could get in there and kind of sabotage the Golden Company from within and maybe follow his lead for Dany.
What? The sellsword works for that the
He doesn't work for the Golden Company, but it's another one of the sellswords that's over there, or sellsword companies that's over there. And so I don't know, just something to think about.
Well, all right. Thanks for clearing that up, man.
Resident expert
appreciate it.
McBean, everybody.
Yeah, there's plenty of
seriously.
resident experts in the chat as well.
Yeah. You guys are great. You guys are great. Love the discussion as always. Even though this did feel to me like a transition episode, I still very much enjoyed it. I cannot wait for next week because I'm hoping McBean is right, and this is a huge episode to kind of gear up for the finale.
Right.
2 episodes left, people, which means there's only 2 more of these streams left. So that's kind of sad, but we're gonna do it up. We'll do it up. We'll be there. We'll be on board. So that's going to do it for us. That's everything. We covered everything tonight. And as usual, a lot of fun.
All
A lot
right.
of fun. So thanks for
much fun
joining
is
us,
what it was.
everybody. And we hope to see you again after the next episode next week. When we
Alrighty.
man.
See you guys later.
have a
Hey,
good
guys.
night, everybody. See you
Bye.
later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.